My boyfriend, who I've spent years trying to save from his own mind, snapped, turned violent, pinned me. Now I'm realizing I've become the kind of woman I used to help on the domestic abuse hotline, and I don't know how to escape the person I swore I'd never become. My boyfriend struggles with severe mental health issues, depression, social anxiety, and bipolar disorder. I knew he had anxiety when we met, but I didn't realize how deep his pain ran until I was already in love with him. For the past 2 years, I've watched him battle himself, sometimes winning, sometimes losing so hard it feels like I'm losing him too. He's attempted suicide before. Several times. Sometimes he just disappears, turns his phone off, switches his location off, ignores everyone, and I end up calling the police, terrified they'll find him too late. Each time, I think, this is it. This is the time he won't come back. And then he does, exhausted, hollow-eyed, apologizing like he's the one who's been inconveniencing everyone just by existing. When he has these episodes, it's like watching someone else take over his body. His voice changes, his eyes go distant, and it's as if he forgets every good thing that's ever happened to him. He hates the world.
He hates his family.
He hates me. He says things that make me feel like a stranger. Cruel things I know he doesn't mean, but they still cut deep. It wasn't always like this. In the beginning, his episodes were mostly silent disappearances. Now they come with words that burn. Still, when he breaks, when the walls crack and he collapses into tears, I see him again. The boy who's just so tired of hurting, who says he doesn't want to die, but doesn't know how to live anymore. He always tells me he says those things to push people away, that he doesn't deserve love. But I can't stop loving him. I wish I could. Alcohol is his trigger. He doesn't drink often, but when he does, it's always a disaster. He says he needs it to feel normal, especially before social events, to quiet his mind, to stop his hands from shaking, to blend in. But one wrong comment, one unexpected emotion, and he switches. It's like watching a light go out. He gets reckless, angry, self-destructive. I try to talk him down, to remind him who he is underneath all the pain, but sometimes he just looks at me like I'm a stranger. When it's over, he always apologizes. He says he doesn't remember half of it, that he hates himself more than I ever could. And I believe him. But every time, it gets harder to pull him back. Harder to hold the pieces together when it feels like I'm breaking too. Tonight was one of those nights. The kind I dread but always tell myself will be different this time. We had gone to the doctor earlier for him to discuss his medication, duloxetine and mirtazapine, and ever since the appointment, he hadn't been himself. The meds make him feel numb, trapped inside his own head. He said it was like his emotions were locked behind glass, and the only thing that could break it was alcohol. I told him no, that drinking only made it worse, but he begged me. He said he just wanted to feel normal for one night.
And I caved.
We were going to a quiz night at a local pub with my friends, something small and harmless. I wanted him to feel included, to have fun, to remember that life could still be good. So I let him have 2 drinks. At first, it worked. He was laughing, smiling, actually talking to people. I hadn't seen him that relaxed in weeks. Then, when he said he could feel it wearing off, that familiar anxiety creeping back in, he asked for another. I hesitated. But what could I say? He's an adult. I can't control him. I didn't want to start an argument and risk triggering an episode in public.
So I said yes.
For a while, it felt like maybe everything was fine. We left the pub, went back to my uncle's place. We're staying there to look after his dog while he's away. The night was calm. He was sweet, affectionate, cuddly, like the person I fell in love with before all the chaos took over. He kept kissing my cheek, holding me tight, whispering how much he loved me. But then I ruined it. There was something small, stupid, that had been sitting in my chest all night. Earlier, at the pub, he'd met one of my friends. She's a lesbian, and she was telling a funny story. And while she talked, he kept looking at her. Not in a creepy way, just attentively. But something in me twisted. I'm a jealous person. I know that. I'm working on it. And for a flicker of a moment I thought, what if he likes her? I knew it made no sense. I knew it was my own insecurity talking. So later, when we were lying together, warm and safe, I told him. I said it gently, that I'd gotten jealous for a second, that I knew it was irrational. I expected maybe he'd reassure me, maybe laugh it off. I brought it up to him when things were good. Or, at least I thought they were. I didn't want to accuse him of anything, and I told him that. He's always said he wants me to be honest about what's in my head, especially when jealousy or anxiety creeps in. So I told him. I said that earlier in the night, When my friend was telling a story, my mind played a trick on me. For a flicker of a second, I felt jealous. I told him I knew it wasn't true, that I didn't believe he liked her, that it was just my brain being cruel. I thought he'd appreciate my honesty. But I saw that look in his eyes, the one that means the switch has flipped. His face went blank, his voice low and sharp. I apologized, again and again, trying to explain that I wasn't accusing him of anything. But it was too late. He told me I was pathetic, that I ruin everything, that I make him hate himself. Then he said he hated me. It was like the air was sucked out of the room. I froze, trying to remind myself that this was his illness talking, not him. But then he started saying things that I can't even repeat, things so cruel and personal that I still can't believe he said them. Before I could react, he slapped me across the face. The sound echoed before the sting set in. I remember saying his name quietly, hoping he'd come back to himself. But he didn't. He stormed upstairs, yelling that he was leaving, that he needed to get away from me. I followed him, not to fight, but to calm him down, to stop him from doing something reckless. When I got to the bedroom, he turned and hit me again harder. I stumbled, begging him to stop. I don't even remember what I said, just that I was crying and shaking, trying to hold him still long enough to make him look at me. He shoved past me, went downstairs, and started heading for the front door. I panicked and blocked the way, begging him to just talk to me. I told him I didn't want him to leave like this, that I was scared he'd hurt himself. But he grabbed me and pinned me against the door, one hand around my throat. For a second, I couldn't breathe. His face was inches from mine, his eyes empty. Then he let go and stormed out. I stood there gasping for air, frozen. My face burned, my throat ached, but all I could think was that he might hurt himself. I grabbed my phone and followed him down the street, calling his name, begging him to stop. He turned and hit me again hard. That's when I stopped chasing. That's when I finally understood that I couldn't help him like this. I called the police. My voice shook so badly I could barely speak. I told them what happened, that I didn't want to press charges. I just wanted them to find him and make sure he didn't hurt himself. Then I called his mom. We talk a lot, and she sounded so tired, heartbroken, but unsurprised. She said he wasn't allowed to come home. She couldn't do it anymore. The police came back not long after I called, their lights flashing against the walls like a heartbeat. I told them I didn't want to press charges, that I just wanted them to find him and make sure he was safe, but they said that in situations like this, they had to arrest him. I begged them not to. They said it wasn't up to me anymore. They found him not far from the house and took him away. His bags are still here, sitting by the door, like he's going to walk back in any minute and pretend none of this ever happened. Now I'm sitting on the floor, shaking, writing this because I don't know what else to do. The house feels so empty and loud at the same time. Every sound makes me jump. I keep staring at the door, waiting to hear his voice, even though I know he's not coming back tonight. I can't tell my friends. I can't tell my family. I don't want to bother them, and I don't want them to think differently of him. They don't see the side of him I do, the broken, terrified side. The boy who cries in my arms at night because he doesn't want to live anymore. They'll only see what he did. They'll only see the bruises. And once they see that, they'll never look at him the same way again. The worst part is my mom. She's a manager at the local domestic abuse organization. Every time there's a police report or a PPNS, a public protection notice, it gets sent to her. I had to beg the officers not to send it. They told me because I didn't give a statement, it wouldn't go through. I hope they meant it. I couldn't handle my mom finding out that way. I can already imagine her face, the disappointment, the fear, the realization that her daughter ended up in the kind of situation she spent her whole career trying to save people from. And now I'm just lost. I don't know what to do. He's probably sitting in a cell right now, hating me, convinced that I've ruined his life. Maybe he won't even want to be with me after this. Maybe that's for the best.
But I can't stop thinking about him.
About how he's been failed by everyone who is supposed to help him. The mental health services that never call back. The therapists who cancel. The doctors who just hand him a new prescription and send him home.
He's drowning.
I know he is. His meds don't work. Work itself makes him worse. Every little thing chips away at him, and I've watched it happen in slow motion. It was only this morning, that he was sobbing in my arms, saying he doesn't want to live anymore. And now he's sitting in a cell because he hurt me. What he did was wrong. I know that. I can still feel it in my body, the sting, the pressure, the fear. But it's not that simple. He's not a monster. He's someone who needs help so badly that I don't think anyone can give it to him anymore. I love him, and I hate that I still do. I hate that I'm sitting here, crying for someone who hurt me. I hate that I'm terrified for him instead of myself.
I've done so much for him.
More than I ever thought I could do. For anyone. I've stayed up for nights, making sure he didn't hurt himself. I've called the police, begged doctors to listen, sat in waiting rooms, held him through panic attacks, talked him down from ledges, literal and emotional. I've given up pieces of myself, chipped away at my own peace, because I thought I could hold him together. And now, sitting here, I realize I don't even know what more I can do. I think he's going to kill himself, and I don't know how to stop it. I'm still in shock. I keep replaying everything, trying to make sense of it. How did I get here? I work for a domestic abuse service, for God's sake, the same one my mom manages. I was the first point of contact for women calling in, scared and broken, asking for help. I've listened to their stories 100 times, told them they didn't deserve it, told them to leave, told them they were strong for reaching out. I used to think, I'll never let that happen to me. I used to think I could recognize the signs, that I was too smart, too aware, too in control. But here I am, sitting alone in a house that still smells like him, trying to tell myself I could have prevented it if I'd just kept my mouth shut. If I hadn't brought it up, if I'd just been quiet, maybe he wouldn't have snapped. And I know that's not true. I've told women that exact thing. It's not your fault, you didn't cause it. But now, when it's me, I can't believe it. I feel like I failed him. Like I failed myself. I used to wonder why women stay. Why don't they just leave? Why do they go back? I used to think it was simple, you leave because you deserve better. But now I get it. Because even after everything, even after what he did to me, some part of me still wants to fix him. Still wants to save him. I want to be the person who beats the odds. The one who helps him get better. The one who brings him back from the edge. I know I probably can't, but I can't stop thinking that maybe I can. That maybe if I just try a little harder, love him a little more, say the right thing, it'll be enough. But I can't talk to anyone. Not my mom, not my friends, not the people I work with. I can't walk into that office, the same one where I used to take those calls, and tell them that it's me this time. I can't bear to see their faces, to see the pity or the disappointment, even if they never say it. My mom can't know. She spent her entire life helping women like me, and I can't be one of them. I can't let her see that I became one of the people she's fought so hard to protect. And the worst part is, I know they wouldn't judge me. I know they'd help. I've been on the other side of those calls, the calm voice telling someone they're not alone. But I can't bring myself to make that call. I can't bring myself to admit it out loud. Because saying it means accepting that I'm not the helper this time. I'm the one who needs help. I hope I can find the strength to leave, but right now, I don't think I have it in me. I feel completely beaten down, hollow, drained, worthless. It's like every bit of energy, love, and care I've poured into him has just vanished into nothing. I tried so hard to help him, to steady him when he was falling apart, and for a while I thought it was working. He was getting better, or at least I thought he was. But these last few weeks have been a free fall, and I'm watching everything crash again, including myself. His outbursts, I know deep down they come from a place of desperation. He wants people to care, to notice him, to prove that he matters. Someone once said to me that his behavior is for attention, and they were right, it is. But it's not the harmless kind of attention-seeking. It's the kind that destroys everything around him just to feel alive for a moment. His mom told me she's been through this all before, long before I came into the picture. She's tried everything, doctors, therapy, constant support, and it's broken her too. We've had long talks about it, and she said something that's been echoing in my head ever since. You can't save someone who doesn't want to be saved. I know she's right. She's exhausted, completely worn down, and even though he hasn't hit her, the words he said to her have left scars of their own. His parents have reached a point where they're ready to move away, just to escape the chaos, to protect themselves from their own son. I keep thinking about all the nights I stayed up holding him, talking him through the darkness, reminding him he wasn't alone. All the times I gave him grace, when he didn't deserve it. And yet, in his episode, none of that mattered. None of it even existed to him. I became just another person he could lash out at, another casualty of his pain.